this is my 14.4 coaching review. In this screencast, I will be reviewing my lesson plan. I will be discussing my strengths and weaknesses and explaining any adaptations I made during the lesson. I will also look at different qualifications that would improve my overall coaching lesson. Lastly, I will outline 3 SMART targets that are designed to improve my fitness instructing. The first part of this review is the peer review. So my peers said that my strengths were demonstration, organisation, the control of the group, I was positive, I had a good choice of skills, I had a clear layout of the session so I knew when and what was happening, and I had a high knowledge of each activity, whereas the weaknesses were I didn't really motivate them, I had little eye contact between them, and the duration of each activity and variation in giving praise was not really there either. Then my self-review. I said that my strengths were demonstration, organisation, control of group, link to lesson plan, communication and planning, whereas my weaknesses were motivation, eye contact, variation, giving praise and feedback. I think that I had a good strength in demonstration because when they didn't understand something, I went through it step by step and made sure that if they didn't, I paused at each stage so that when they didn't understand something at the first stage, I would go back over it and repeat myself until they got it. And this meant that eventually all of them understood what was being asked of them. Secondly, I think that my strength was communication, because again, I was instructing them, even though I didn't have any non-verbal techniques, so I didn't use a whistle. I did clap a few times, and I did communicate with them, so I did tell them what they should be doing, and I gave them technical instruction as well, along with the demonstration, which helped them to really understand what was being asked. The third strength was planning, because I knew I had my plan with me, so I knew what and when was happening and when they should be moving on to each stage, and so it all laid out really well and it all flowed really smoothly. Whereas my weakness, I think I didn't really give them enough praise, so I didn't, even though they were working really hard, I didn't give them enough credit for how hard they were working, which meant the motivation lacked a bit as well, because I didn't clap them on, or I gave little comments, but I think I need to up it a bit more because they were working really hard. And the last weakness was feedback again. I didn't call them in and tell them that they were doing well, so I don't think they knew how well they were doing, which also can be quite demotivating if your coach doesn't tell you how well you're doing in a situation. The next slide is the adaptations. Throughout the whole session, I changed the amount of repetitions. After the first round of the first activity, I decided to only repeat this once because I could see that the students were already fatiguing, and I didn't think they would be able to continue with the rest of the programme. The next few rounds were more high-intensity exercises such as burpees, and I therefore took the decision to cut out a set because it was not feasible. The next thing I changed was some of the exercises. I cut out bird dogs due to Alice's back injury. I also substituted the 100 for a straight leg and hold exercise, which meant that those with a knee pain or back pain did not feel the strain, and so this therefore put less pressure on them. And finally, Alice had a back injury and she couldn't do the hip lift march, so instead she laid down, and she did not have to have back at an angle, which took the pressure off it. She couldn't do this for a prolonged period of time, so instead I said to her that she could hold the position for 10 seconds instead of 25 seconds like the others. In the future, if I was to do this lesson again, I would have created a circuit instead with more stations, but because this is due to only 3 participants. So my last session, I only had 3 participants when there was meant to be more, so I decided to line the mats next to each other in a line, but I don't think this would have worked with a group of, like a higher number of participants, such as 5 or 6 plus. Because this was it would have been a never-ending line of people, so I wouldn't have really moved up and down. I would have to keep moving up and down, so if there was more people, the longer the line would have been, which has meant the more I'd have to move to motivate people and tell them what to do, so it's just also they wouldn't be able to hear along the other end of the hall. So I figured that a circuit would be better, because the exercises are all varied and it will maintain the athlete's enthusiasm. I would have also incorporated, if I was to do it again, some light weights within the exercises to make the muscles work harder, as this is said to help with fat burning, because the more muscle tissue that you add through the strength training, the greater your basal metabolic rate, and will be therefore burning more total calories and fat at rest, which is a more permanent solution to weight loss. Another weakness, if you go back to the other slide, I think that movement, I didn't really move a lot. I just stayed in the middle of the three, which meant that I didn't have much interaction with them, so this was kind of a bit demotivating for them, I guess. And the course that I would choose to go on and improve my coaching would be the Sports Leaders Level 3, because this contains 4 units with some optional ones at the end. So the first unit is developing leadership skills. Unit 2, plan, lead and evaluate a sports physical activity event. Unit 3, lead safe sports sessions. And Unit 4, so plan, lead, evaluate sport physical activity sessions for children. And the optional ones were just to plan and lead a session for the disabled, the community, or older people. This is a minimum course that started at 15, and a minimum age of the finish was 17. I think this would be more relevant for me because it was planning, leading and evaluating more fitness sessions, which would be more relevant for this coaching, because as you go on, you learn to improve and you learn where your mistakes are, and as you get feedback, you are able to improve these, and then for the next time you're in the future, you're able to work better and motivate more people, and you'll get more practice and you'll get more confident. So also with this one, because you've got a different audience each time. So for the first one, it's just a physical activity, and then you've got children, and then the optional community, the disabled and older people. So you learn to adjust your coaching plan for different needs and requirements for the different generations. I also couldn't find the cost of this course, but the total qualification time was 126 hours. Finally, my 3 SMART targets. For my short-term one, this would be to lead another session within 2 weeks. My medium-term target would be to observe 3 other colleagues. And for my long-term target would complete a course for improvement. So this would be either the CYQ fitness instructing qualification, or again, the Sports Leaders Level 3 qualification.